Cancer 30, daughter of the American Revolution. So this is not really about revolution itself. It's about the results, the long-term results of revolution. The daughter of. And the idea here is that we can observe two different, very clear inclinations in life. The one type of person likes change and likes to rebel against authority and tradition and do things the new way. They tend to be youthful, if not actually youths. And there's this restlessness, this rebellious spirit, which is how they experience the life force. And the more conservative element of life tends to be older, and they've got that restlessness out of their system, and it might have taken decades to do that. But when they get to a certain age, they can see that a lot of what was good is in danger of being eroded. And so they speak up for the old way. So I think it's surprising when you cross that watershed and you find yourself no longer to be a rabble-rouser and youthful and angry with society, and you find yourself to be a representative of the old ways. It's a very strange experience. So I find myself reminding people not to let our language be destroyed by bad grammar and bad spelling. We must keep the beautiful things alive, and we mustn't be too liberal in our permissiveness, because it just destroys the purpose of, I keep on saying these things, representing the conservative point of view. It's surprising that I've ever come to this, but it's the case. We come to that point in life where we can see that the old ways included some good bits, and we mustn't throw them out, the baby with the bathwater. Now, the duality of life is implied in everything that we're looking at. So we're looking at here the duality between what was and what is to come, the past and the future. We live here in the now, and we can't say it's better the way it was, it will be better the way it will be. We just don't know. What we do know is what we have here and now. But what we do have here and now are two forces. One is the push of the past. The past wants to be the way it always has been. That's an illusion. It always has been is false. But the values that have been honored by tradition are held to be important and life-giving and quality of life-giving. And the new things might work. They might be more convenient, more comfortable, more exciting, or whatever. They might, but they might cost too much. And in every moment in our lives, we have to notice what we're taking on of the new stuff, and whether there's a cost in terms of losing connection with the old stuff. And the old stuff is to do with traditional values, very typically. And these values are what binds together the people in our lives into some sense of community. By a certain age, you'll have worked out who you like to be with, what course of behavior you want to follow as your life track, and you'll have worked all these things out so that those people in your life who remain, that's your community, that's your village, that's your tribe. And it's bound together by the traditions of that group. There are certain things that we do in our world that they don't do in foreign countries. There's certain things that we appreciate, and it's cultural, and it's moral, and it's legal, and it's religious. All of these things are a part of what amounts to our culture, our tradition, who we are collectively as a people. Now, if you just throw that out because it's somewhat inconvenient to take time to hold it in place, then you lose it. So in your own life, if let's say, for example, there's a tradition in England where family meets on Christmas Day, pretty much like Thanksgiving, I think, in America. And the family get together, and if the family will ever get together at all during the year, they certainly will on that day. Now, this is a tradition, and typically the older members of the family value it more than the younger members, and the younger members are much more inclined to throw it out. And this Cancer 30 counsels against that. It's saying, look, hold on to your traditions. To some extent, at least, you just know that these traditions are actually the foundation, the secure, stable, warm and loving root of your being. And it's not exciting. It's not always pleasurable. It's not always enjoyable. These are secondary compared to the fact that it binds a family together. It binds that family into a tribe, a community, a tradition. And that tradition has its own worth in even young individuals. It's where they go when they can't cope with what's new. They go home and they have mom's apple pie, and that makes them feel safe and secure. And that feeling of being stable and secure is to be treasured. We forget about it until we need it. And if it's not there when we need it, we'll miss it badly. So tradition gives us this sense of belonging, nurture, deep nurture, rooted in the earth. It's almost certainly physically, geographically located. So there's an earth power associated with it. Now, of course, the real danger of glorifying the past is stagnation. And this is what happens to people as they get into the traditional way of being too much. They become stagnant. And stagnant, if you look at water that is stagnant, it's horrible. It doesn't support the kind of life you want it to. It supports malodorous life. It's corrupt. It's not what we want. Stagnant isn't what we want. We want free-flowing, like a healthy stream. It's always moving. And Heraclitus said you can't step into the same river twice. That's because even though the one river is the river of life, the track of your life experience, every time you step into it, it's a little bit different. It's made up of different components. It's going according to different forces. There's been greater rainfall or lesser rainfall and greater life forms and so on. Everything in your life stream is a little bit different today than yesterday. And when you enter it again every morning, you're entering something different. That's the nature of life. Life is change. So we can see that the river itself has been in that position for a long, long time, only changing very slowly indeed. It rises there, it washes into the ocean there, and it follows pretty much the same track for that journey. That's the tradition of your culture. But it's never the same components. It's never the same water, never the same life forms. That's the daily adjustments that we all have to make, because today is not yesterday. It's changed. So here we have the wisdom, the daughter of the American Revolution. The Revolution changed things in a big way. But the daughter of the Revolution, she's a conservative woman. She's in her 50s or 60s, and she's probably influential in some way, politically, not necessarily government, but maybe the local voluntary organizations or charity events for good causes and so on. She's a political mover, this daughter of the American Revolution. So a revolutionary who has become a conservative, and understanding that change happens, yet it needs to happen a little bit more slowly than some young people would want if we're to feel secure.